Hey everybody, it is nostalgia time once again, and yes, another change of plans. So, in our last episode, we took a look at what actually is the last of the Acer series of computers on our list. Now, that is because there was actually another Acer after that, which interestingly came with the original release to manufacturing build of Windows 11. However, when doing the actual restore, it only got to 1%, and then it got stuck on the patch file, and it didn't say insert disk 1, disk 2, then disk 3, then insert language pack, and stuff like that. It didn't say any of that. It just got stuck there and didn't let me continue any farther. So, instead, in this episode, we're actually going to be taking a look at an interesting revolutionary device for the time. This is the Samsung SUR40 tablet. It was actually a table tablet computer that was made between 2011 and 2012, judging by the edition that it came pre-installed with. This is Windows 7 Professional, and it looks like a user had already been set up for us. So I guess this must be Microsoft's first implementation of the Surface before they made Windows 8 for it. So let's take a look around this operating system and take a look at its features. So first of all, this is Windows 7 Professional, Service Pack 1, the SUR40, manufactured by Samsung. So everything here has already been set up for us, so we don't need to go through the out-of-box experience or anything like that, other than that it needs to refresh the Windows Experience Index. I like how they customized the arrow colors to pink. I specifically noticed it on this window here. So, even on the start menu too, it looks like. So, considering this is a tablet machine, it doesn't come with too much. So we have some Microsoft Surface programs here. We have the maintenance tool, and there are no games in here because this is Windows 7 Professional. However, we can enable the games in Add Programs and Features. There's even a Bing tool for the Surface, and then these are the accessories for the operating system. So, let's take a look at a few of these. First up, this is the Surface Config Editor, which is a configuration editor for this specific hardware. So first things first, we have some feedback options here. We can tell it to send reports automatically to Microsoft should there be any problems, and if you want to be a part of their improvement program, then you can do that. And then this is where you'd adjust the appearance. You can use the default background image. Doesn't let us show a preview. Or we can add a custom image using a file on the machine. And then this is where you set the palette color scheme. You can even tilt the screen around. However, this is virtual hardware, so it really won't work. And then this is where you can configure what apps will launch. And here's a single application mode where only one app will be allowed to run. And then this is if you're going around the world. You can set languages for the country or region you're in. So let's hit yes to discard the changes. To discard the changes, and it has already rated a 5.5 with our hardware. But let's see what updates were installed before this. I see automatic updates have been turned off, so that's not a good sign. They didn't even install any updates on this. So this must be the original OEM install with no updates installed. And then specifically for this tablet machine, there's already a separate thing, and right away we have a full screen prompt that says please restart the device to try again. I guess the error says connect a USB keyboard, so that actually is an indication that this was in fact a tabletop tablet PC and not an average computer. So then we have the environment lighting optimizer, which I suppose gives better optimization for viewing in either low light or higher light settings. However, nothing shows up. But we'll just keep it running and we'll see if anything eventually shows up. And then we have a shortcut that enters surface mode. So when we run it, we have an option here that says, do you want to log off? So when we hit yes, it will log us off and it will boot us into surface mode. Which begins with this lovely animation. It looks so pretty, I must say, but is there supposed to be anything happening after this? I guess something is supposed to be happening after this, but it doesn't look to be. So let's just log off of this one. So while the animation is going, if we hit Control Delete, we don't get options for Task Manager. We just get the options to lock, switch user, or log off. Let's log off the surface mode, and we'll log back in as the default account. And now it says, the device made for Surface is entering Windows mode. It is updating group policy settings. Users will no longer have access to the Surface UI. Do not log off, reboot, or turn off power to the device until group policy updates are complete. You will be notified. So then now the group policy updates have been completed. So while Surface mode was running, it did utilize some group policy setting changes. And that's why we got those messages. So when we click Surface Shell, we get that same animation, except we have it in test mode. And it says, please switch to Surface mode before public deployment. So, supposed to start the shell, but we just get this animation. Let's take a look at the Bing for Surface. So, really it's just what it is. It's really just a Bing search engine. And then the configuration tool is of course the configuration for it. You can show the default map location. So it's set to Redmond, which is where Microsoft is headquartered by default. And then we can change the label with the "You are here" marker. And then you can change the categories for what's nearby when you're in the map section. And then these are predefined searches. So this is an interesting piece of technology for the time. And then we'll go through the rest of them. We have the application HTML files or XML file. So this redirects to a hidden folder. So we'll go to folder and search options and we'll show hidden files and folders and we will see it. So we'll go to Microsoft Surface version 2.0 programs and it's really just a shortcut to that Bing tool from earlier. So yeah, that's really all it is. And then we have Input Visualizer. So basically here you can change the visuals for when you tap the screen. So you can either freeze or unfreeze the input, or you can even turn on trails and even tilt the monitor too, which is pretty unique. I've never got to see one of these table tablet PCs back at this time, but it's pretty cool what it looks like now. And then the rest of the stuff is just the administration center and the guide. So then this just opens up the Surface Administration Center, which I guess is like administrator permissions, configurations, and all that other stuff. But other than this wallpaper, let's see if it comes with anything else. We'll go to Web, Wallpaper, and no, other than the Surface background, it doesn't look like we get anything else. We just have the standard default backgrounds in Windows 7. But now let's go to Personalize and see what we have. So it looks like we have a custom theme. It's titled OEM, and it has the name of admin background, and there is no picture, so these are all of the backgrounds that it comes with. And interestingly enough, all the backgrounds are actually located in the System32 folder, where normally everything would be seen in the web folder. So we'll go to System32 and OEM, and then these are where all the wallpapers are. And apparently it looks like they're all cycling in a very short slideshow. Let's do large icons here. We can see all the pictures. So there's the Surface logo, and then there's two Samsung logos. One looks terrible, the other looks better, and then this is the same background from earlier. So let's set it back to the default one, and it's in the fuchsia, is that how it's pronounced? Color scheme by default. But then of course we can change it to pumpkin, twilight, sky, sea, lime, leaf, all these window colors. I suppose these window colors in Windows 7 was sort of a predecessor to the color scheme that would be later introduced in future versions of Windows after this. So in Windows 8, you have two separate customization options. You can change the color for the start screen and then the color for the accent windows and title bars, like here. In Windows 8.1, well, you get the same thing. In Windows 10, however, you can set the color for both the Windows title bars, Action Center, and the color of the log on, log off messages. However, in Windows 11, the customization settings only apply to the title bars and taskbar and that stuff. However, on the log off screen, it's just black. It's just a black screen with nothing special. So, really at this point, there's nothing much to see. So other than that, that's about it. So that is a look at the SUR40 table tablet OEM install from 2011-2012, which actually was Microsoft's first implementation of the Surface before they actually introduced the tablet model with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 respectively. So with this being the first implementation of such, in the next episode, we're actually going to be taking a look at the final product of the Microsoft Surface shortly after the release of Windows 8 in 2012. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.